the question I believe you're asking is human cloning.
Oh, yes, sir.
But let's start with the real question. The real question is cloning going on? Yeah, it is.
I knew it.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying let's just say animal cloning.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Let's start there. That's not a myth or...
No, that's been known.
That's not a conspiracy.
Girl, you don't even know the real Gucci. Y'all think y'all know the real Gucci. Y'all don't know the real Gucci. That nigga parading around out here, that ain't the real Gucci, man. That's not him. I don't know where the fuck, honestly. Like, last time I seen Gucci was at Patchwork Studio in 2010. Cold Blooded was there. Was Mojo there? Yeah, I think Mojo, Cold Blooded. Like, that's the last time I saw Gucci in the flesh, but even...
Been personally playing for about 8 years now. It started around around Illmind 5 when that came out. Because the song was so big, and then they told me I had to kind of sacrifice something. They said you're gonna have to pay it back because you just put this information out there, and this is gonna put people in the wrong mindset of what we're trying to do in society. So they told me that if I don't do these list of things, then they're going to hurt my family. And it was like an all white room, and they opened one of the doors, and it had a Gucci suit. A Gucci bodysuit. And I said, oh no, please don't tell me that is what I think it is. They said, yeah.
Believe that there's clones. We don't believe that because we don't feel like we have the technology.
What you'd have to do is make a clone brain dead. Figure out how to engineer a brain dead clone that'll grow organs for you. Look. And then they'll make cloning legal, because then you'll never have to worry.
The internet is spiraling again. And this time, the conspiracy mill has locked onto a familiar name, Gucci Mane. What started as a few whispers in shady forums has exploded into a full-blown viral wildfire after old clips of Katt Williams resurfaced. Clips that fans claim prove Hollywood cloning is far more than a myth. Now the timeline is in chaos. Gucci's transformation is back under the microscope. His exes are chiming in, and the theories are getting darker by the minute. Whether you believe the rumors or not, one thing is certain. This story has more twists than Gucci's entire Twitter meltdown saga combined. So let's break down how we got here, who's saying what, and why these allegations refuse to die. Clips of Katt Williams are flooding every corner of the internet again, and the energy is downright chaotic. It started with a few edits on TikTok. Nothing serious at first, just fans resurfacing an old moment where Katt casually discusses cloning like he's talking about the weather. But within hours, the algorithm did what it does best, pushing the clips into millions of feeds and reigniting one of Hollywood's most persistent, most unshakable conspiracy conversations. Suddenly, timelines were buzzing with people stitching videos, slowing down Katt's voice, zooming in on his facial expressions, and insisting that this time he wasn't joking, he wasn't exaggerating, he wasn't doing stand-up. He was dropping hints. The wildfire spread so fast that even people who barely follow celebrity news were suddenly weighing in, confused but entertained, because this wasn't just about cloning anymore. It was about who he might have been referring to. And this is where the internet did what the internet loves to do: connect dots that may or may not exist. Almost immediately, fans began pulling up old side-by-side photos of Gucci Mane, reopening a debate that had been quiet for years but never fully disappeared. Comments flooded in claiming the timing of Katt's resurfaced interview was too suspicious, that the way he described celebrities allegedly being replaced lined up almost perfectly with the drastic physical transformation Gucci had after prison. People weren't saying it outright, but they didn't have to. The wave of speculation grew louder. The theory gained momentum. And within a day, Gucci's name was back in everyone's mouth like it was 2016 all over again. Whether Katt meant it or not, those clips lit the match, and fans are convinced they know exactly which rapper the flames are pointing toward. Once Katt Williams' clips exploded online, it didn't take long for the internet to dust off one of the most persistent theories in hip-hop gossip culture: the idea that Gucci Mane wasn't the same man who walked into prison years ago. These allegations first appeared in the early 2010s, tucked away in tiny Reddit threads and obscure conspiracy forums where users swapped grainy screenshots and circled body features like they were analyzing UFO sightings. Back then, it was mostly dismissed as fringe chatter. People comparing Gucci's jawline from different angles, pointing out how his smile looked sharper, his posture more upright, his energy more controlled. But everything escalated the moment Gucci walked out of prison noticeably slimmer, healthier, and speaking with a calmness fans weren't used to seeing from the man who once dominated headlines for chaos. That's when the quiet theories turned into full-blown timelines of before versus after posts, with users insisting his mannerisms seemed too polished and his overall vibe felt manufactured. What started as an inside joke turned conspiracy among a small corner of the internet suddenly spilled into mainstream social media. Twitter threads with thousands of retweets began asking, "Where's the old Gucci?" YouTube commentators uploaded slow-motion footage comparing his walk, his laugh, even the tilt of his head. Instagram fan pages were flooded with clips of Gucci performing before prison versus after release, each comment section turning into a debate about whether this was simply growth or something more unsettling. The idea of him being replaced morphed from a fringe curiosity to a viral talking point, fueled by the dramatic nature of his transformation and the internet's love for a mystery that refuses a tidy explanation. Then came the moment that poured gasoline on the fire, the resurfacing of Mac Breezy's old comments. While nothing she said was verified, fans treated her words like a missing puzzle piece. Mac claimed that when she saw Gucci after his release, something felt off, that he looked like Gucci, sounded like Gucci, but didn't have the same energy or soul. She described it as being face-to-face with a version of him that felt hollow or programmed, which immediately sent conspiracy spaces into overdrive. For believers, this wasn't just gossip, it was confirmation. They clipped her quotes, added dramatic music, and turned them into TikToks explaining why they always felt something was different. Her comments emboldened people who already leaned toward the theory, giving them the confidence to say, "See, someone who actually knew him noticed it too." And from there, other figures from Gucci's past, friends, collaborators, or people merely claiming insider knowledge, were dragged back into the conversation. Anything they said that hinted at distance, change, or odd behavior was repurposed as supporting evidence, even if the original context had nothing to do with cloning or replacements. The narrative grew legs, arms, and a whole new spine as fans blended old interviews, half-remembered stories, and online speculation into one dramatic storyline that refused to die. And just when it seemed like the conversation might settle, the internet resurfaced another layer of the rumor mill, accusations involving Gucci's wife, Keisha Kaur. Again, nothing grounded in proof, just pure speculation amplified by Mickey's very loud and very bold claims. Mickey alleged that Keisha wasn't just a partner, but a handler, a word that instantly electrified gossip lovers because it taps into the infamous industry puppet narrative, the idea that powerful execs allegedly place certain people in a celebrity's life to keep them compliant. Mickey's posts, filled with fiery language and dramatic warnings, circulated rapidly, framed by fans as part of a larger pattern rather than an individual outburst. The internet ran with it, not because the claims were verified, but because they fed perfectly into the mythos already built around Gucci's sudden transformation. Keisha's polished image, her business-focused composure, and her central role in Gucci's life made her an easy target for people eager to stitch together a dramatic narrative. The comments erupted with theories tying her to shadowy figures, industry agendas, and behind-the-scenes control, all wild speculations dressed as what-if scenarios. And because the internet thrives on connecting unrelated dots, Mickey's accusations became yet another ingredient in the rumor stew, keeping the conversation spicy, messy, and impossible to look away from. Before the transformation, before the internet theories, and long before anyone whispered the word clone, there was a period of pure chaos that conspiracy believers now point to as the alleged turning point in Gucci Mane's life. Back then, Gucci's name wasn't trending for fitness journeys or business deals. It was trending for explosions, feuds, and a string of wild headlines that made even his fans wonder what was going on behind the scenes. The chain reaction really began with his infamous Twitter meltdown, where he fired shots at almost everyone in the industry. From peers to past collaborators, nobody was safe. It was like watching a digital storm rip through the timeline in real time. And as expected, it immediately became the talk of hip-hop media. But the Twitter chaos was only one piece of the spiral. Shortly after, Gucci found himself buried in back-to-back legal issues. There was the club incident where he reportedly smashed a champagne bottle on a man's head, an event that landed him right back in the headlines for all the wrong reasons. Then came the traffic altercation, another moment of public meltdown, where he allegedly threatened people and even resisted arrest. Each arrest looked worse than the last, and fans watched the story unfold like a slow-motion collision they couldn't look away from. Eventually, the situation escalated to a point where Gucci was sentenced to prison, and that's where conspiracy believers draw their imaginary line in the sand. To them, this era marks the before, a chaotic, unpredictable, troubled version of Gucci that seemed to be spiraling out of control. And that's exactly why the transformation that followed felt so dramatic. To people who were used to seeing him in constant turmoil, the change wasn't just noticeable, it was shockingly abrupt. This chaotic chapter became the narrative setup for every theory that would come later. The internet framed this whole era as the last glimpse of the old Gucci, making it the unofficial prologue to one of hip-hop's most dramatic glow-ups ever. When Gucci finally walked out of prison, the difference was jaw-dropping. Fans weren't expecting a subtle shift. They were expecting the same energy, the same persona, the same unpredictable spark. Instead, what they saw looked like a complete rebirth. The man who once moved with heavy, unrestrained aggression appeared calm, focused, and startlingly composed. His physical transformation was the first shockwave. Gucci came out noticeably slimmer, more defined, and visibly healthier. The shift in his speech was another surprise. His tone was softer, his interviews more reflective, and his entire presence carried an air of self-discipline that people hadn't seen before. Social media immediately erupted with reactions. Some praised him, calling it one of the craziest glow-ups in hip-hop history. Others questioned how someone could go from chaotic to centered so quickly. This is where the conspiracy theories took on a new life. Fans started comparing photos, analyzing body language, slowing down videos, and claiming his voice, movements, and facial expression seemed too perfect. The contrast between the before and after versions of Gucci was so dramatic that even people who didn't believe the rumors still admitted the change was surprising. And then Hobson unintentionally made everything worse, in the funniest way possible. He posted his parody video, joking that he was Gucci's clone and describing being forced to play the role after allegedly being threatened by mysterious agents. It was meant to be satire, but once the clip went viral, people who were already deep into the conspiracy rabbit hole treated it like a confession disguised as comedy. The video spread faster than the truth could keep up, and suddenly, the transformation wasn't just a transformation anymore. It was internet lore. What was supposed to be a glow-up turned into a storyline with a life of its own, fueled by memes, conspiracy edits, and people obsessively dissecting every new photo Gucci posted. The makeover didn't just intensify rumors, it became the centerpiece of them. When the rumors finally reached a boiling point, Gucci decided to address them directly, choosing a calm, grounded tone that contrasted sharply with the chaos unfolding online. He explained that what people were seeing wasn't a replacement, a stand-in, or anything remotely clone-like. It was the result of hard work, discipline, and a personal commitment to change. He talked openly about shedding negative habits, losing weight, changing his mindset, and distancing himself from environments that weren't good for him. His message was simple. Personal growth can look dramatic when someone completely turns their life around. His explanation stood in complete opposition to the internet's whirlwind of speculation. While fans were analyzing side-by-side photos and tossing around theories about replacements and replicas, Gucci was talking about maturity, evolution, and self-care. The grounded nature of his response almost made the rumors seem surreal in comparison, like two entirely different stories being told at the same time. Gucci framed the transformation as something intentional and earned, not engineered. But of course, in true internet fashion, his calm clarification didn't stop the conversations. It only split them. Some fans accepted his explanation and praised the growth. Others claimed the statement itself was part of the cover-up. And so the debate continued, feeding a cycle that has kept Gucci's transformation one of the most talked about celebrity glow-ups and conspiracy topics of the last decade. Once the transformed Gucci was back in the spotlight, the resurfaced Katt Williams interview clips intensified everything. Katt didn't mince words. He spoke about cloning in Hollywood with his signature blend of seriousness and sarcasm, the kind that leaves you wondering whether he's joking or dropping something deeper. He never named anyone, never pointed in Gucci's direction, never even hinted at a specific celebrity. But the internet rarely needs direct connections. It just needs an opening. And Katt's comments were the perfect opening. His tone, the timing of the resurfaced clips, and the way he confidently stated that cloning absolutely happens became the fuel that sent fans into detective mode. People began stitching the clips with Gucci's post-prison interviews, slowing down videos to point out similarities in phrasing, posture, or demeanor. Entire TikTok pages dedicated to celebrity conspiracies started pushing the idea that Katt was talking about someone who had already gone through it, and the algorithm did what it always does, connected unrelated dots until the narrative felt bigger than the truth behind it. What kept the tension alive was the ambiguity. Katt never clarified whether he was speaking metaphorically, exaggerating for comedic effect, or expressing literal belief. That vagueness allowed fans to project whatever storyline they preferred. For some, his comments were a wake-up call. For others, they were just classic Katt, entertaining, provocative, and designed to stir conversation. But regardless of intention, the internet latched onto the clips as if they were breadcrumbs leading straight to the mystery of Gucci's transformation, even though nothing Katt said actually pointed there. As the clips circulated and the theories resurfaced, fan reactions quickly split into two loud, passionate camps. On one side, you had people who found the whole situation amusing, convinced that the internet was spiraling purely for entertainment. They'd comment things like, "Y'all, people can't lose weight and find peace without being replaced," or "Gucci got healthy and suddenly it's a sci-fi movie." These fans saw the transformation as the natural result of someone hitting rock bottom and choosing a different path. Then there were the fans who leaned all the way into the mystery. They'd pull up old interviews, post comparison photos, and insist that certain micro-expressions weren't the same. Some argued that Katt's comments lined up too well with Gucci's timeline. Others pointed to the personality shift as if it were a missing person case, not a personal growth journey. Threads with thousands of replies debated everything from his smile to his style to his overall aura. And in the middle were the spectators, the people who didn't fully believe the conspiracy, but also couldn't deny that the story was addictive. They'd leave comments like, "I don't believe it, but I'm not gonna lie, this is interesting," or "I'm just here for the drama." These middle ground fans are the reason the debate refuses to die. They keep the comment sections alive, keep the theories circulating, and keep the videos climbing in views. This blend of disbelief, fascination, humor, and suspicion created a perfect storm. One of those internet phenomenons where people aren't sure what's real, but they're definitely not looking away. It's the kind of cultural moment that thrives because everyone has an opinion and nobody wants to be left out of the conversation. And that brings everything full circle. Katt Williams' resurfaced comments, Gucci's dramatic transformation, years of fan speculation, and a debate that refuses to disappear no matter how many explanations get offered. The story sits right at the intersection of celebrity culture, mystery, and internet imagination, making it the kind of topic people will always return to whenever the algorithm stirs the pot again. So now the only question left is the one the internet keeps asking. Do you think this entire conspiracy is just a wild internet myth? Or do you believe Katt's comments were hinting at something deeper? Drop your thoughts below, because this is one debate the internet clearly isn't done with.